And this idea that George Orwell saying of, you know, brave men stand on these walls. That's why I sleep peacefully at night. That is no joke, people. There are people, there are men and women that are on these walls, and they will climb off that wall and go into bad guy country just so you can sleep well at night. And while sometimes we get resentful about it, and sometimes we feel unappreciated, every single one of us would do it all over again.
Amen. I now want to ask you a question as a Christian. Like I said, you wrote the book Where Have All the Heroes Gone, which the fact anyone can write a book to me is incredible. I don't think I could ever write a book, so that's wildly impressive. But as a Christian, one of the questions I find fascinating when I interview someone who's gone to war and is also a Christian, what do you say to people who might say, you can't kill people, you can't believe in combat, you can't go to war, and at the same time call yourself a follower of Christ? What would your response be to anyone who might suggest that?
If I was going to be flippant, I would say, did you ever read the Old Testament? And then the other piece of that too, and this is one of the things I'm working on a sequel. So we talk about the Old Testament, right? And then so you have the Old Testament, which is a lot of warfare. And then you have 400 years of silence. That's the thing. Between the last book of the Old Testament, the Old Covenant, and the coming of John the Baptist, 400 years went by, and God did not speak to his people. It was silence. So now he comes in, and all that New Testament piece, the Gospels with Jesus, is a handful of years. So Jesus comes in to fulfill the violence that was necessary in the Old Testament, right? But then we keep forgetting, what does he point to? The entire Bible ends with the book of Revelation. And what happens in Revelation? War, violence, killing. So while this warrior king, prophet, priest named Jesus, Yeshua, is who we exemplify, and he didn't live a life of war, he's gonna. He says when he comes back, his robe will be drenched with blood. So I don't see these as competing ideas of life and death and violence and peace and grace. I see them all as one piece. And I would take that so far. My personal belief is we will all meet our creator. I don't understand this judgment piece. You know what I mean? Like when you die, I don't understand what exactly is death of the body and the mind and the soul. But I think you will have an opportunity to meet our creator, and you will make a decision if you follow him or not. So maybe people think of this as a cop-out, but for me, to end the life of a terrorist and give him the opportunity before he could do more bad things to stand before his creator and be given that option of, now do you get it? Because when you and I go to heaven, dude, there's things we got wrong, right? Like
Right.
what is my test score? 87%? You know what I mean? You've got a 92%. What we don't have is 100.
Right.
None of us have 100% on this test. So somewhere along the line, we're going to have to accept the things we got wrong and follow Yeshua, follow our creator, get on our knees and be accepted into this next kingdom. So how about that guy who's got a 6 on his exam? You know what I mean? He was nice to a puppy once. You know what I mean? Like why is he any different than me? So that's why, I mean, in many ways, I believe the longer somebody lives in a life of violence and in a life of commitment to evil, I think it's harder to make that decision for eternity. So maybe this is a weird answer to some people, but if you're somebody who's bent on evil and I end this mortal life for you, in my mind, I'm doing you a favor because I'm ushering you into eternity where you have an opportunity to make a decision in front of your creator. And I pray that you choose well.